The flashing red and blue lights cut through the quiet street as Officer Daniel Hayes stood beside a worn-out sedan, pen moving steadily across his ticket pad. It had been a long night of routine stops, but something about this one felt different. The driver, Ethan Carter, stood a few feet away, shoulders slumped with exhaustion. His eyes kept drifting back to the back seat, where a small boy slept peacefully, clutching a stuffed bear as if it were his entire world. The contrast between the chaos of the roadside and the innocence inside the car made Daniel pause for a second longer than usual. "You were speeding," Daniel said, though his voice lacked its usual edge. 15, over. "That's not something I can ignore." Ethan nodded quickly, guilt written all over his face. "I know, I'm sorry. I just got off work, and my babysitter canceled. Had to pick him up myself. Guess I wasn't thinking straight." Daniel followed his gaze and saw the child again. A single dad, he realized. No partner in the passenger seat. No one to share the load. Just a tired man trying to make it through another day. Daniel's grip on the pen loosened slightly as he wrote. "It's just you and him?" he asked. Ethan gave a small, almost shy nod. "Yeah, has been for a while." For a moment, silence settled between them, broken only by the faint hum of passing cars. Then, Daniel smirked faintly, trying to ease the tension. "You know," he said, tearing the ticket, but not handing it over yet, "if you weren't already married to all that responsibility, I'd probably add my number instead of just this ticket." Ethan blinked in surprise, then let out a tired laugh. "That might actually be more expensive in the long run, officer." Daniel chuckled, but something deeper lingered in his expression. This wasn't just another stop anymore. Daniel finally handed over the ticket, but his eyes stayed on Ethan, studying the quiet strength behind his exhaustion. Most people he pulled over were defensive or irritated, but Ethan seemed different. There was no anger in him, only fatigue and quiet determination. The kind of determination that came from having no other choice. "Look," Daniel said, lowering his voice. "This fine, yeah, it's official. But you can request a reduction or attend traffic school. It might help." Ethan took the paper, glancing at it briefly before folding it carefully. "Thank you. Really, I'll figure it out." From the back seat, the little boy stirred, rubbing his eyes. "Dad, are we home?" Ethan immediately softened, stepping closer to the car. "Almost, buddy. Go back to sleep." The boy looked toward Daniel, half awake. "Are you a superhero?" Daniel blinked, caught off guard, then smiled. "Something like that?" The child nodded, satisfied, and drifted back to sleep. That simple moment hit Daniel harder than he expected. A superhero. He wondered if the boy knew that his real hero was standing right beside the car, working double shifts and still showing up, no matter how tired he was. Without thinking too much about it, Daniel reached into his pocket, pulled out a small notepad, and scribbled something quickly. He hesitated for a second, then handed the extra slip of paper to Ethan. "What's this?" Ethan asked. "Not official," Daniel said, with a slight grin. "Just, if you ever need help, for even just a recommendation for a decent mechanic or coffee." Ethan looked at the number, then back at Daniel, surprised but not uncomfortable this time. "You weren't joking earlier." Daniel shrugged lightly. "Maybe not." A week later, Daniel sat in a small cafe at the corner of a quiet street, stirring his coffee absent-mindedly. He wasn't even sure Ethan would show up. Maybe it had been too forward, too unexpected. Maybe the number had ended up crumpled in a trash bin somewhere. Just as he was about to give up, the bell above the cafe door chimed. Daniel looked up and there he was. Ethan, looking a little less tired this time, his son holding his hand. "You actually came," Daniel said, a hint of relief slipping into his voice. Ethan smiled faintly. "Took me a few days to decide, but yeah, I came." The little boy waved. "Hi, superhero." Daniel laughed, standing up. "Hey there." They sat down together, the conversation starting slow, but growing easier with each passing minute. It wasn't forced. It wasn't rushed. It was just real. Ethan talked about his job, his struggles, and the small victories of raising his son alone. Daniel listened, really listened, in a way he hadn't done in a long time. And somewhere between shared stories and quiet laughter, something unexpected began to form. Not just attraction, not just curiosity, something steady, something understanding. As they stood to leave, Ethan glanced at Daniel and said softly, "You know, maybe I'm not just married to responsibility." Daniel smiled, meeting his eyes. "Good, because I meant what I said." This time, there were no flashing lights, no tickets, just the beginning of something neither of them had planned, but both of them needed.